A coronial inquest into the Christmas Island boat tragedy at the end of last year is underway in Perth. A wooden boat, believed to have been carrying about 92 asylum seekers, broke apart in heavy seas when it struck rocks off Christmas Island. At least 30 people, including babies and young children, are known to have died. Reporter Andrew O'Connor says the inquest will be in two parts.
Roz, in the first part of the inquest, the coroner is going to focus very heavily on the surveillance that was in place around the island in the lead up to the incident and during the incident, and also on the time that it took for the border protection vessels that were sheltering on the other side of the island to come to the aid of the stricken people who were being thrown into the water after the boat crashed against the rocks on Christmas Island. There was more than an hour, perhaps up to an hour and a half, between the time the boat was first sighted off the coast of Christmas Island to the time that it was actually founded on the rocks. So the coroner is going to be very focused on exactly why there was that delay in the response and the circumstances that led to it.
Andrew, the coroner has shown a particular interest in a type of radar used by Defence forces in northern waters. What's behind that interest?
Now, he's been focused on a thing called the Jindalee Over the Horizon radar. Now, this is a defence radar which looks out across Australia's northern maritime approaches, we're told, up to a range of about 2,000 kilometres. Now, Rear Admiral Tim Barrett was summoned to appear at an earlier directions hearing here at this inquest, and he admitted to that hearing that the Jindalee Over the Horizon radar was not actually operational at the time. So the question in the coroner's mind is really, if that radar had been operational, would it have given an early alert to Border Protection Command that this vessel was incoming? And if that early alert had been received, would they have been able to respond more quickly, and would those lives have been spared?
Now, as we have said, about 30 bodies were recovered, but how many people are still unaccounted for?
Look, it's estimated up to 50 people lost their lives on the boat, so 30 bodies have been recovered and identified, but 20 remain missing, presumed dead. So the coroner is hoping, and has said in the preliminary hearings here, that he hopes to make a conclusive finding about the fate of those 20 people, that they are in fact dead, to provide some closure for the families.
Another boatload of asylum seekers landed on Christmas Island earlier today. A third boat has been found on Ashmore Island. What more can you tell us?
Well, we understand that that boat was found yesterday. We're not sure at this stage exactly how many people are on that boat, but it would bring to probably more than 100 the number of asylum seekers that have entered Australian waters since the May 7 declaration by the federal government that any person arriving by boat into Australian waters would not have their asylum application processed here in Australia but would be shipped overseas. Again, as far as we understand, the negotiations with Malaysia and Papua New Guinea are continuing. They have not yet been finalised, so it's still not clear what will happen to any of the people who came aboard any of the three boats that have arrived since that time. Where they'll be taken and when is still an open question.
Andrew, thank you.